What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsac, and we're doing Authority from HackTheBox, which starts off with pillaging SMB shares. And you find a bunch of Ansible playbooks, and the playbooks themselves use Ansible Vault, which encrypts some information, but you can crack them over in Hashcat, get the password to decrypt, and that leaks some passwords they use to set up the server. Most notably, the password to access the PWM management interface. This is like a self-service password reset type of thing. But once you get in the management interface, you can test the LDAP connection. You can insert your own LDAP server and have it connect back to you. So you steal the LDAP password, and that gets you credentials to the Windows server. From there, you can do one of the Active Directory certificate exploits, the ADCS. This one is the ESC1. We have to create a machine account, and then we can use that machine account in order to become administrator. So with that being said, let's just jump in. As always, we can start with the nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv, enumerate versions, oa, output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it authority, then the IP address of 10.10.11.222. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have quite a few ports open. It looks like 13. The first one being DNS, and it says simple DNS plus, so I'm thinking this is going to be Active Directory already. I'm skipping down. I see LDAP, LDAP-S, and I'm guessing Kerberos is going to be listening as well somewhere. Let's see. Oh, yeah, up here, KRBSec. So we definitely have a Active Directory server. So I'm just going to look for ports that stand out, like HTTP. That's just going to be IIS. We do have LDAP. It gives us a DNS of authority.htb.corp. The DNS of htb.corp. So let's start adding things to our host file as we go. So sudo vi etc host, and then we can go 10.10.11.222 authority htb.corp. Let's give it authority as well. I'm going to do authority.htb. I always like giving it every combination that we can of the name. So scrolling down, more SSL stuff. Lots of SSL. We also have 8443, and this is going to a website /PWM, and that may be it. So one thing I like doing whenever I have Windows is just do a quick NetExec, which is the new version of CrackMap exec. So we can do this, 10.10.11.222. And I just like this because it gives me, or at least confirms, the domain name and the name. And oddly enough, we have the domain being authority.htb and the name being authority. I don't see any .corp, which is a little odd. And it also looks odd with both the name and the domain being authority. Generally, you see that if it is a domain controller being like DC01. So this box's name is authority. The domain is authority.htb. So we have all of the names. So I'm going to go to 10.10.11.222. I have 111. And this is the IWS page. If we go at 8443, it wants SSL. Going over here. Takes a while to load. I'm going to press F12, look at my network tools when I reload. I just want to see if it's hung somewhere. It is getting blocked. Why does this blocked? It loaded eventually. Why? Binding abort. No. I wonder if it wants authority.htb 8443. Accept this. Does this page load any quicker? Is this in console? I'm just going to try like authority.authority. If that doesn't work, we'll just move on. I don't know exactly why it's going slow. It's probably loading some domain name. Let's see, what name does the certificate think it is? Common name 172.16. That's not going to work. So I'm guessing the IP address changed from when the machine was created, and it may think that's the IP and throwing some weird errors, but looks like everything works. It just goes a little bit slow. We have a username and password field, and then two things, the configuration manager we can see a username, svcpwm. Users, we don't have any password. We could try brute forcing the password, but if we do, we risk locking things out, right? So don't like ever doing that. We go to configuration editor. Is that what we went to? I thought I clicked the first one here. Okay, they both look the same. So it wants a password. I'm going to just try admin and see if we get in, but we don't. Try admin here as well. So all we get so far is a username of svc_pwm. So we can close these out and let's check SMB. So if we do a NetExec SMB -- shares, we can see it's not letting us in, but oddly enough, if we do a invalid username password, it logs in. I forget exactly what type of login this is. I don't think it's a null session. Maybe it's guessed. But whatever this defaults to when you have an invalid password, it logs in. I think if you don't specify anything, it's null session. And then if you do, I forget what it is, but we can see we have read access over the development share. So I could use the Spider Plus module and crawl it, but I could also just go straight to smbclient because I forgot the syntax to the Spider Plus, but I know this one. So let's go this way. And if you want to, I'm sure if we went to ipsec.rocks, Spider Plus, you could go to plenty of other videos where we do that. So development, do a dir. We have an automation directory, Ansible directory, and a bunch of files. I'm going to go up 2 directories. I'm going to type recurse on, and then I'm also going to type prompt. And this is just going to make sure the next thing doesn't prompt me every time I want to download something. So I do mget star. It's going to just automatically download every file here. If I didn't type prompt, it would ask me for every single file if I'm sure I want to copy it, which is annoying. If I don't do recurse, it's just going to, I think, make the directory and stop. It's not going to go in and download all the files, right? So this is going to download everything. If I look at this directory now, we have automation, Ansible. I'm going to start looking at things while it downloads. I'm going to open up in Visual Studio Code just because it makes navigating around this a little bit easier. There we go. I was wondering where it was. So I'm guessing this is going to be some VS Code modules of, or not VS Code modules, Ansible modules of deploying everything, right? We have ADCS, so this is going to be Active Directory Certificate Services. Maybe Robert Debach is another user. LDAP is probably going to configure LDAP. PWM, that's the website we were. And share, this could be the file share, right? We have c:/share internal. Is there like a development share? Is that what we connected to? I don't see it. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely don't see anything about a development share. That is what we connected to, right? smbclient. It is. So maybe these Ansible things are out of date or it's not for this domain, but it is the similar technologies. If we look at the configuration variables, we have a potential password of super secret. We could try like crackmapexec logging in with super secret as the password for, I guess, svc_pwm is the only thing, but I don't want to waste your time showing you it does not work. But that is what I would be doing if I hadn't solved this box before. So clicking around, you can just kind of look at what things there are. I like looking at all the variables first. So let's go here, default. If there is a vars directory, I would look at that as well. Don't see anything there. That looks standard. And what we're looking for is any like hard-coded credentials. So hard-coded credentials generally will be in your variable files. So defaults is the default variable, and vars is another place to store variables. So it's not an LDAP. Let's go to PWM. If we go here, we can see something right off the bat. We have PWM admin login, admin password, LDAP admin password. So we have 3 different ones. Let's save each of these. It's a bit of a pain to save these because the John module about to do doesn't allow multiple things per line. So we just have to do them one by one. So this will be PWM admin login. Admin login. Do this. Replace all, like that said command I did was just getting rid of spaces. So we can do PWM admin password next. Add this. Okay. And let's go to the next one. Copy this. Okay, so now I can do like a locate Ansible to John. Where is that installed? It is here. So we can do that on, let's see. We'll do PWM admin login, PWM admin password, and LDAP. Okay, let's just direct this to a file of Ansible.hashes. So now we have this. Let's copy it over to the Kraken. And this is just another box I have on my network. You can do it anywhere. I'd recommend doing it on your host. It's just easier for me in videos to do it off this machine. We do hashcat/hashes. There we go. And then let's go in hashcat. And we can do /hashcat. And I'm going to guess we have to add the username flag because it put the file name before the hash. And then we just specify hashes, Ansible.hashes, and then the word list of rocku.txt. And let's see if it automatically detects a mode. It's probably going to detect it as some type of Hashcat crack. There we go. 16900 Ansible Vault Password Manager. And it is starting up to crack. I don't know exactly. Okay, there we go. I was wondering why the run times were taking a little bit of time. And we got 1, 2, and all 3 have cracked. So I'm just going to do a --show after you get rid of the word list. And we can see everyone is the same password. So I'm going to go and try this password on the password service. Inactivity, that is annoying. Let's just go here, configuration manager. That loaded actually pretty quickly. Type this password and password incorrect. So let's try actually grabbing the data. So let's go back here and let's see. Let me exit Hashcat. Put the password back on my clipboard. vcreds.txt. Ansible Vault. Okay, so I'm going to cat this, and then let's pipe it over to Ansible-Vault decrypt. Put in the password, and we get the first credential. So let's say vcreds. This will be LDAP admin password is that. Okay. Let's go to the next file. And this is LDAP admin login. No password, or no admin password. Oh, PWM. Admin login. I always hate copying out of Vim. So that's why you see me exit to grab that. So we also have the svc_PWM user. And that password is, oh, that is not a password. That is the login. So let's now get the PWM admin password. And we have the credential. Okay. So let's try NetExec. So we can do NetExec smb-u svc underscore pwn and -p for the password. We probably have to put that in quotes because bash did funky things with like the exclamation points and things. Let's see, we need to give it a target 10, 10, 11, 222. Let's see. SMB. Is it target then protocol? That doesn't look right. It's protocol then target. There we go. And we can log in, but we can't really download anything. We can also do a -- shares to see if there's anything else we can see now, because remember there were 2 shares and access denied. Oh, the saying we could log in is probably going to be that weird thing where we did the invalid user and we could still see a directory. If you give it a valid username, it's still going to say that's successful, right? So here we have this. Let's see, success. If I give something that doesn't exist there, it should still say success. Yep. So it's treating everything as a success. So we don't actually have the password. We can try this password on the web service. So do this, and we can log in. So let's see. We could try downloading the configuration. And let's save this to, I guess, downloads, then move it. So let's do CP, downloads, PWM configuration, cat this, or let's grep for svc underscore because that's how the username was. We have svc underscore LDAP. So if we look at this, I'm just looking around it to see if there's a password. We can search this for password. grep-i password on PWM. And nothing looks like a password. But we do have a new user, svc underscore LDAP. So what I'm going to do is let's try NetExec. And let's do svc underscore LDAP. Will this say we logged in? We don't. So now we actually have a valid user account. The svc underscore PWM, that probably wasn't a valid user account. Every invalid user is treating it as a successful login. But this is not. So let's go back to our creds and we can try the LDAP admin password. So let's paste this in. And it doesn't work. We can also try the PWM password. Maybe I typoed that. I really don't think that was PWN. That may have been PWM. Yeah. That's probably it. Do an invalid thing here. Nope. Still treats everything as a success. Okay. So we don't have any credential. So let's see what else we can do in this thing. There were 2 places we could go. Right, we did the configuration manager. Let's go to configuration editor. And it's not asking for a password because we already entered that one time. So if I go to LDAP, settings, global. Let's see, no. Let's do directories, default, connection. I'm trying to find this, right? I want to get the password out of this. So we have the LDAP user. The proxy, the password is stored. It doesn't look like the website is telling us the password of that account. If we go here, I was just looking in the source code. Sometimes you'll see it like hidden around this, but that doesn't really happen nowadays anymore. But we can add more LDAP URLs. So let's add one. And I'm going to point it at myself. We'll do LDAP : / 10.10.14.8, which is my IP, and we'll do 389. Okay. And then we can do sudo nc lvnp 389. And when we do test LDAP profile, it comes back to us. And the password is LDAP in the clear. It's kind of hard to see. We could also do ldap.out. Let's see, it should connect again, right? From unknown, there we go. By cat ldap.out. We see it there, and that will let us XXD it. And we can see there's two like unknown characters. This is just separating the value of HTTP. So it becomes a little bit more clearer there. But really, the best way to do it is going to be responder, right? Whenever it comes to like man-in-the-middling anything from a Windows computer, I use responder. So we can do responder -I ton 0. And if we look, the LDAP server is on. I wonder what if we're listening on secure LDAP. LNP, let's see. 389, it's like a 6 something. 1433? Is that? Let's see. I don't think 1433 is secure LDAP. Let's do less LDAP authority.nmap 1433. No, it would be like 636. So I don't think responder supports LDAP S. Maybe it does. But let's go and do test LDAP profile now. And we can see this spits it out pretty clearly. It parses the packet and gives us the credential. So svc_LDAP is LDAP in the clear. So let's go back to NetExec. So NetExec SMB 10.10.11.222-u svc_LDAP-p, put in the password. And we can also add it to our creds. We have it open somewhere. Let's see. SVC LDAP. Fix our stupid typo. There we go. And let's see. I just want to make sure it says invalid login when we change that. So we don't have SMB access. We could do -- shares now and see if there's any new thing we can read. We can now read the department share. So if I do SMB client -u svc_LDAP 10.10.11.222 department shares. If I put this in quotes, will that connect me? Capital U. Password, or is LDAP in the clear? dir. Recurse on. Prompt mget*. So now that's going to download everything. I don't think we have to because this is looking very much like this, right? IT, HR, R&D. It already downloaded? Let's see. I don't think it was in recurse mode. Or those are empty. going to download anything. Oh God, I did dir, and since recurse on, it tries to download everything. So this is a blank share, and I should have went into a directory before doing this because it kind of clobbered my working structure. So let's see. Well, the box name is authority, so we could probably go for Certipy. But before I do Certipy, I want to check one last thing. Let's see. Cat creds. I normally test like WinRM as well. We can test other protocols with this. NetExec. WinRM. And make sure that doesn't let us log in. And it does. So we could log in with WinRM here. So we could do evo winrm-i 10.10.11.222-u svc _ LDAP-p, that password. And we get logged in, and this can get us the user flag probably, right? There we go. But whenever I check for any type of ADCS vulnerability, I don't like doing it on a Windows box, primarily because when I'm doing pen testing, you do it from a Windows, it's going to be .NET, and it generally gets caught when you run it there. It's much, much easier to just run it from your box. And there is a tool called Certipy that does a really, really great job. So I'm going to do Certipy, find-u, the username svc LDAP-p, put in the password, and then we give it the target, which is authority.htb, to give it text, standard out, and show me vulnerable. And this will take a couple seconds to run. And it failed to connect to remote registry, but then it eventually did it. And we have the vulnerabilities, ESC1, and it's because we can, enrolled computers can target this one. So we need a computer account to do this. The easiest way is just to create our own, but before we do that, we should make sure we can create accounts. So let's go back to our NetExec command. We'll do SMB, and if you do a -L, it's going to list all the modules of SMB. And let's see, maybe it's LDAP we want. Let's do LDAP. There we go. And we want the module MAQ. This is going to retrieve the machine account quota. We also need to specify our username. So I'm going to grab this just in case we don't have it. Actually, I can copy both of these. And we should be able to specify the names after the module, right? Doesn't matter the order the arguments are in. And we can see service LDAP has a machine quota of 10, which means I can add 10 computers to the domain. Why this is a default thing in Active Directory where pretty much any user can add computers, I'm not exactly sure. But this will let us add a computer. And generally when you add the computer, the password is randomized so you don't know it. But when you use the Impacket script to add the computer, you can specify the password. So let's do add computer, and we'll specify the account we want to authenticate with. So authority svc LDAP. The method we want to use is going to be LDAP secure. The computer name, we'll call this IPsec, and the computer pass will be please subscribe, ! 1. And I did that just for password complexity. We'll do one bang. There we go. And then -DC IP 10.10.11.222. So this will add us the computer IPsec. Paste in the password. I had 10 on my clipboard. Let's grab LDAP in the clear. I bet if I did a colon after SVC LDAP, maybe that's how we can, what is it? Put a password in. So now that we have this, we can do the Certipy account attack. So we can do Certipy, request, username, IPsec, and the computer names end in a $password. Please subscribe, one bing. And then after that, we want to give it the authority -ca. Normally it's going to be the domain, then -ca, then -dcip 10.10.11.222. And I'm sure Certipy also told us that, right? Where is Certipy? Okay, so that did give us that. We want the template name of Corp VPN. Right? Yeah. So we did DCIP, then template Corp VPN -UPN. We're going to become administrator at authority.htb. I think that's it. And you could get those flags while that goes. If we did like Spectre Ops ESC1, this would probably be a good talk that pretty much has most of that. NetBIOS timed out. There we go. I don't know why it didn't work the first time, but it did work the second time. So we have the administrator certificate at administrator.pfx. And I just did administrator because the default administrator for most Windows computers is named administrator, right? We could test if that guy existed with crackmap exec. So if we did netexec, administrator, like this, it should fail to log in, right? Because we're getting login failures before when we did this. Yep, there we go. So we know administrator is a valid user because if the user didn't exist, like administrat, it'll say success. So we know that user does exist. We could also use a tool like Curbrute or something like that to enumerate valid usernames if the direct AD server didn't have this weird configuration. I wish I remembered what did that. But we do have that administrator.pfx file. So the next step will be to try to authenticate with it. So we can do Certipy auth pfx administrator.pfx. And we get this. I bet if we search this page, let's see. If we Google this with Certipy, maybe this is a new post. Let's see. Go here. And it says when a domain controller doesn't have certificate installed for smart cards, you'll probably get this error message. And it does tell us we can use PassTheCert to get around this. So let's grab this application. So we'll do git clone, PassTheCert. And man, our directory is awful. But let's go and PassTheCert. They do have a Python, and it's just PassTheCert.py. So I'm going to copy that up to directory since there's no libraries. That way I just don't have to specify PassTheCert/Python to run things. Let's see. Let's clean up some of these directories. Accounting, finance, HR, IT, marketing, operations, R&D, sales. Okay, that's a little better. So So to use PassTheSert, we will have to break our certificate because it has a key and a cert into just separate files. So we can do certipy -pfx administrator -no cert out administrator.key. So now that took the key out of this group of certificates and just put it in its own file. So the next thing we can do is pretty much the same thing, except instead of no cert, we do no key -out administrator.crt. So we have now just extracted both the certificate and key from the PFX file, and that will enable us to do a PassTheSert. So we'll do Python 3 PassTheSert.py -action LDAP shell, specify the certificate of administrator.cert, the key administrator.key, and domain authority.htb, and I always specify DCIP. And this is an Impacket script. So we'll find out very soon. No route to host because I forgot A2. We can do help. And there's not many users here. And not users, arguments. And that's because my Impacket is out of date. We can see it's from 2020. We would know that if we looked at this. So if I did less PassTheCert.py, it's getting the LDAP shell from just Impacket examples LDAP shell. So let's install a more recent version of Impacket. So I'm just going to Impacket on Google, and I'm going to specify GitHub. Let's download it. We can do a git clone of this. We can go into Impacket. Actually, before I do that, Python 3-m vm.vm. So that's going to create us a Python 3 virtual environment. Go in Impacket, do pip3 install dot, and this will install Impacket to this virtual environment. And this will be the newer version of Impacket. So when we run the LDAP shell, it's going to have a lot more options. So let's just hit up. Same exact command I had ran before, but this time our Impacket is a newer version, 2023 instead of 2020. I do help, and we have a lot of options. So the option that sticks out most to me is going to be add user to group, right? So if we run this, not enough values, expected 2. Let's just try svc_LDAP administrators. And it says the result was okay. So now let's do a PSExec. We can say svc LDAP at 10.10.11.222. PSExec.py. Paste in the password. Requesting share, uploading, starting it, and we're admin. Right? We could also do like WinRM or do anything to get this. So that is the super easy way to do it. But it does have other ways we could do it because, again, we are LDAP, right? So that enables us to change any flag we want. I think set RBCD was the intended way. So if we run this, it expects 2. We want the target and the grantee. So I'm going to give it the target of authority like this. And this is going to be the machine name. Remember, the machine's host name was authority. Normally it's going to be like DC or DC01, but it's authority in this case. And we'll give it IPsec. And it does not look like it added it. So maybe like a machine cleanup script has deleted the IPsec machine. Let's do add computer. Let's see. Got creds. I want to see. Do I remember this right? Is it colon the password? Hey, that's how you do it in Impacket. Awesome. I always forget that. So we can do, where was I next? We want to do PassTheSert. That's right. So that's going to get us in the LDAP shell. and then do the set rbcd authority IPsec like that. And what we did is allowed IPsec to impersonate users on authority via S4U2 proxy. So essentially, this just means IPsec can have delegation, so it becomes a domain controller. So what we're going to do is a git silver ticket. And we can say we want a silver ticket of CIFS/authority.authority.htb. So we're saying this guy has signed our ticket, and he signed us to be administrator. And we're going to specify the target. So this is going to be the account we authenticate as. So we do authority.htb because that's the domain. Then we can say IPsec $ because that's our computer. And then please subscribe $1 because that's the password to our computer account. So when we do this, clock skew to great. Let's do sudo ntp date 10.10.11.222. So this was just a Kerberos error that our clock was out of sync with the target. Maybe that's why like it didn't work one time. No, that was really far out of sync. Holy crap, that time. Let's try running this again. Okay, so now we have the administrator.c cache. So this is going to enable us to just become administrator. So let's do kb5cc name is equal to administrator.c cache. And let's see, let's just do a secret stump. We can do secret stump.py-k no pass authority.htb/administrator at authority.htb. And let's just say dash the NTLM. That did not work. Maybe we have to give it the authority.authority, the fully qualified name. There we go. And there we have it, dumping all the creds. So that's going to be the box. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time.